A young missionary, full of faith and determination, set out on a mission to spread the gospel in a remote village. This village was located deep within a dangerous jungle, known for its violent criminals and ruthless bandits. Many travelers who had taken this path before had mysteriously disappeared, never to be seen again. Despite knowing the risks, the missionary was fearless. He firmly believed that God had called him to share the message of Jesus Christ, and he trusted in the Lord's protection. With a small bag, a worn-out Bible, and unwavering faith, he stepped into the dense jungle, unaware of the dangers that awaited him. After a long and tiring journey, he reached the village and began preaching. Some of the villagers listened eagerly, touched by the message of God's love and salvation. However, not everyone was pleased with his presence. A group of men, known for their violent ways, grew furious at the missionary's teachings. They saw him as a threat to their influence and traditions. In hushed whispers, they made a terrible decision: they would kill him that very night. That evening, as the missionary prepared to rest, he felt an unusual stirring in his spirit. A strange, overwhelming urge to pray gripped his heart. He couldn't understand why, but he sensed something was wrong. Instead of lying down to sleep, he knelt beside his small wooden bed, opened his Bible, and began to pray. His prayer started as a whisper but grew into deep, fervent cries to God. "Lord, I don't know why, but I feel the need to pray. I place my life in your hands. If there is danger, protect me. If there is evil, send your angels to guard me." Hours passed, but the urgency in his heart remained strong. He continued praying deep into the night, not knowing that, just outside, danger was drawing near. As the missionary prayed inside his hut, the gang of men crept toward his home, their weapons gleaming in the moonlight. Their plan was simple: break in, kill him, and leave no trace. The gang leader raised his hand, signaling them to move forward. They had killed before, this was nothing new to them. But just as they were about to enter the hut, something unbelievable happened. Out of nowhere, a blinding white light illuminated the entire area. The attackers shielded their eyes, stunned by the sudden brightness. And then they saw him, a mighty, majestic figure dressed in a glowing white robe. This mysterious man in white stood tall, holding a massive, shining sword in his hand. His face radiated authority, and his presence was overwhelming. The gang leader stumbled back, his voice shaking. "Who is that?" One of the men whispered, "It's an angel. He's not human." Their hands trembled, and without a second thought, they dropped their weapons and ran into the jungle, fleeing for their lives. The next morning, the missionary stepped out of his hut, feeling a deep sense of peace. He had no idea what had happened during the night, only that he had prayed until he felt calm enough to sleep. The man hesitated, then spoke in a trembling voice. "Sir, I must tell you the truth." The missionary looked at him curiously. "What truth?" The man lowered his head in shame. We came to kill you last night. But when we reached your hut, you were not alone." The missionary frowned. "We saw him, a mighty man dressed in glowing white robes. He held a huge, shining sword. He was guarding you. We knew he was not human, so we ran for our lives." The missionary's eyes widened in shock. He had been alone in the hut, or so he thought. Suddenly, everything made sense. God had sent his angel to protect him. Tears filled his eyes as he looked up to the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Lord." This miraculous event changed the hearts of many in the village. Some of the very men who had plotted to kill the missionary now sat at his feet, eager to hear about the God who had saved him. The missionary continued his work in the village, now with even greater confidence. He had experienced firsthand the truth of Psalm 34 verse 7. "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." A powerful message for us today. This true story is a reminder that God protects those who trust in him. Prayer is powerful. It can change situations we don't even know about. No weapon formed against a child of God will prosper. Angels are real, and God sends them to guard his people in times of danger. If you ever feel afraid or uncertain, remember, you are never alone. God is watching over you, and his angels stand ready to defend you. Do you trust in God's protection? If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.